My peanut butter fudge recipe is super easy and delicious. In addition to being full of flavor, it's also really great because it's a no-cook recipe. Without boiling anything on the stove or using the microwave, you can have some awesome fudge. But best of all, it only has 3 ingredients, so it's really quick and simple. First of all, I'm going to use one 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk. It's a common ingredient in pretty much all easy fudge recipes. It's not only delicious, but it's also really convenient because it's canned, it has a long shelf life, so it sits in your cupboard or pantry, and it's ready when you are. Of course, I'm going to use some peanut butter. I'm going to use 1 cup or 240 grams of creamy, no-stir natural peanut butter. I'm sure you've seen natural peanut butter that has a lot of oil sitting on top. That's the kind you have to stir. However, the no-stir kind, as you can see, only has a minimal amount of oil on the top, and sometimes it doesn't really have any at all. The difference between the two is that no-stir natural peanut butter has some of the peanut oil removed and replaced with palm oil. That's a whole other topic for another video, but I just wanted to say that even though I know a lot of people like to eat the stir kind of natural peanut butter that has a ton of oil on the top, my chef's intuition tells me not to use that in this recipe. So I would use either no stir natural peanut butter or I would use regular peanut butter. And of course, even though I'm using creamy, you could definitely use crunchy. The third and final ingredient is powdered peanut butter. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but powdered peanut butter is made by removing about 85% of the fat from peanuts and then adding some flavorings like a bit of sugar and a bit of salt. It's really popular in the fitness community, people who want that peanut butter flavor but with a lot fewer calories. There are different brands, but I think PB2 is probably the most popular in the United States. It's probably the one that you'll find the most easily. So if you can get that, or I've also heard of peanut flour. My understanding is that it is made almost the same way, and it's basically the same except it doesn't have the sugar and salt and other flavorings. So if anyone makes this peanut butter fudge recipe with peanut flour, let me know in the comments. Like I said, this is a really simple, no cook, no bake recipe. So I'm literally just going to dump everything in a bowl and mix the 3 ingredients together. My peanut butter is now in the bowl. I like to measure everything out in grams. You could definitely put it in a measuring cup if you want, but I think it's easier, especially with something sticky, to just measure it using a scale. One thing I did want to point out is that I accidentally grabbed the crunchy peanut butter jar, not the creamy one, but honestly, I think it will be fine. So now I'm going to add the jar of sweetened condensed milk, and then I'm going to stir them together. I'll scrape that in a minute. I just want to show you how easily this comes together. Even though some people like to keep peanut butter in the refrigerator, I recommend using room temperature ingredients because they will mix together a lot better. Now that the sweetened condensed milk is mostly mixed in with the peanut butter, it's time to add the powdered peanut butter. I'm going to start off with 2 tablespoons. I may add more, we'll see. But what I did want to show you is that when you add a little bit, you can see how the powdered peanut butter starts to absorb the moisture and everything starts to thicken up almost immediately. So far, I added the first 2 tablespoons of powdered peanut butter and then another tablespoon, so 3 total. It's still a little loose for me, so I'm going to add 1 more tablespoon for a total of 4, or 24 grams of peanut butter powder. I just finished mixing in the 4 tablespoons of powdered peanut butter, so 24 grams. As you can see, the mixture is now a lot thicker. I have a loaf pan. I did not spray it, I just put some plastic wrap in it, and now I'm going to empty this out, empty out the fudge, and spread it into my loaf pan. Now that the peanut butter fudge is in the loaf pan, I'm just taking my spoon and tapping it down like that to smooth it out. It's sticky, but not as sticky as you would think, so I didn't put any oil on my spoon or anything. This is nice and easy. And actually, I'm just going to use my hands because sometimes your hands are your best tools. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the fudge in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 hours so that it can harden. Just going to fold over the plastic wrap, put it in the refrigerator, and then I will bring you back. Now it's time to cut into the peanut butter fudge. I actually let it chill for 7 hours in the refrigerator, but honestly, I think it would be ready after about 3. This peanut butter fudge recipe turned out extremely well. What I really liked about this fudge was that the peanut butter flavor was really strong, and that although it definitely was sweet, it wasn't overly sweet. In fact, I shared some with a friend, and he said that for a no-cook 3-ingredient recipe, this has the perfect balance between sweetness and flavor, the peanut butter flavor being especially strong. I also like the texture. It was nice and soft, and since I used crunchy peanut butter, there was a nice contrast in textures. However, although you can see that I could definitely cut it into pieces and that those pieces held their shape, it wasn't quite as firm as most fudge, so depending on what you're looking for, that may be a good or a bad thing. However, as time goes on and you keep it in the refrigerator over the course of 3 or 4 days, it will start to dry out and it will get firmer. Although this plain version is absolutely delicious, I don't see any reason why you couldn't use chocolate peanut butter powder. Or maybe you could even melt some semi-sweet chocolate and drizzle it in as you are mixing the fudge. Like I said, this peanut butter fudge is absolutely delicious, but the ironic thing is that I actually came up with this recipe by mistake. My goal was to create a simple peanut butter frosting recipe with only a few ingredients. First, I added peanut butter to sweeten condensed milk, and then I added some powdered peanut butter in an effort to thicken it. Although I think you could probably still use it as a frosting if you only add 1 or 2 tablespoons of powdered peanut butter. After 4 tablespoons, I realized that it was way too thick. But then I had the idea of putting it into a mold and then chilling it to see if it would set. And as you can see, it definitely did. Considering that this easy peanut butter fudge recipe was born out of a kitchen fail, it's just another example of how disasters in the kitchen can be learning experiences. And sometimes they can get the creative juices turning and lead you to really great things. If you're looking for an easy fudge recipe for Christmas or really any time, be sure to give this one a try. I know you'll fall in love with it at first bite, just as I did. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.